A babe lay abandoned. Wrapped in tattered cloth, he was left at the foot of majestic Mount Kenya. He was alone. The cold wind howled. The hospital doors seemed miles away. This was no place for a child, yet fate had brought him here to this point of despair. Little did anyone know this child held within him the strength of 1,000 men. He would be known one day as the guardian of the mountain. But that day seemed far away. The nurses at the Mount Kenya hospital found him. It was a miracle he survived. He was a fighter, this much they knew. They named him Jabali, meaning strong as a rock in Swahili. It was an apt name, for he would need to be strong to face the future. The years that followed were harsh. He was shifted from one orphanage to another. He faced neglect and cruelty, but Jabali held on. He clung to life with a tenacity that surprised everyone. He had a spirit that refused to be broken. Jabali's only solace was the majestic mountain. He would often gaze at its peak. It was a symbol of hope, a beacon in his otherwise dark world. He felt a strange connection to the mountain. It was as if it held a secret, a promise of a better tomorrow. And Jabali clung to that promise. For in his young life, hope was all he had. Life in the orphanage was hard. The older boys bullied him. Food was scarce. Jabali often went to bed hungry, but he never complained. He bore his hardships with a stoic silence. This was his life, and he had learned to accept it. But deep down, he yearned for something more. He longed for a family, for love, for a place to belong. Little did he know, his prayers would soon be answered. One Sunday, a kind pastor visited the orphanage. Pastor Ben was a man of God, his heart filled with compassion. He saw Jabali sitting alone, his eyes filled with a wisdom beyond his years. Pastor Ben felt drawn to the boy. He saw in him a flicker of something special, something the world needed to see. Pastor Ben took Jabali under his wing. He brought him to his church, a small but vibrant community. Here Jabali felt a warmth he had never known. The love of God enveloped him. He finally felt like he belonged. He found solace in the hymns, hope in the sermons, and love in the people. Pastor Ben became his mentor, his guide, his father figure. He taught Jabali about faith, about love, and about forgiveness. He saw the potential in Jabali, the strength that lay dormant within him. "You are a special Jabali," Pastor Ben would say. "God has a plan for you." Years passed, and Jabali blossomed under Pastor Ben's guidance. He grew tall and strong, his physical prowess becoming evident. He was faster, stronger than anyone else. He could lift boulders twice his size. He could outrun the swiftest gazelle. He was different, special. One day, Jabali's friend Joseph was being bullied. The older boys surrounded him, their faces twisted with malice. Jabali felt a surge of anger. He had to protect Joseph, but he was afraid. He had never used his strength to hurt anyone. Jabali ran to the church, seeking refuge. He fell to his knees and prayed, his voice echoing in the empty hall. "God, please give me strength," he pleaded, "not to hurt them, but to protect Joseph." He felt a strange energy coursing through him. It was warm and powerful, filling him with a sense of purpose. He raced back to where Joseph was cornered. The bullies laughed, unaware of the storm that was about to hit them. Section 4. Triumph over adversity. Jabali stood tall, his shadow falling over the terrified bullies. He didn't raise a hand. He didn't need to. His presence alone was enough. The bullies scattered like frightened animals, their taunts turning into whimpers. Joseph was safe. Word of Jabali's strength spread through the village. Some feared him, whispering tales of a mountain spirit residing within him. Others saw him as a protector, a beacon of hope. Among them was Kamau, a jealous young man who desired Jabali's power. Kamau tried to befriend Jabali, pretending to admire his strength, but Jabali sensed his true intentions. Kamau, consumed by envy, spread lies about Jabali, turning the villagers against him. Jabali was heartbroken. He had used his strength for good, yet he was repaid with suspicion and fear. Section 5. Guided by faith. Jabali sought solace in the church, in Pastor Ben's wisdom. "They fear what they don't understand," Pastor Ben consoled him. "Use your strength to serve, to protect, to love. Show them that you are a force for good." Jabali took Pastor Ben's words to heart. He started helping the villagers, carrying heavy loads, clearing fields, and protecting their livestock from predators. He was tireless, selfless, always ready to lend a helping hand. Slowly, the villagers' fear gave way to respect, then admiration. They saw the goodness in his heart, the purity of his intentions. Jabali had become their protector, their champion. He was the guardian of the mountain, a symbol of hope, courage, and unwavering faith. Section 6. The Power Within. One day, a small child approached Jabali. In her tiny hand, she held a gift, a worn-out Holy Bible. "This is for you," she whispered, her eyes shining with adoration. Jabali was touched. He had never owned anything so precious. That night, under the light of the moon, Jabali opened the Bible. He began reading from the Gospel of John. His eyes fell upon a verse that would change his life forever. "For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life." John 3:16. This verse resonated with Jabali. He finally understood. His strength wasn't just physical, it came from his faith, from his belief in a loving God. This realization filled him with a new kind of strength, a strength that transcended the physical. He realized that true power lied not in might, but in love, compassion, and unwavering faith. From that day forward, Jabali's faith became his guiding light. He used his strength to protect the innocent, to fight for justice, and to spread the message of love and forgiveness. He had found his true calling, his purpose. He was the guardian of the mountain, a testament to the power of faith, a shining example of God's love.